And we're on. Hello and welcome to podcast episode 152 of Rope Boxing. And the two Daves are joined by a special guest this week. Yes, a special guest. He hasn't been on for a while because we've kind of pushed him to the side. We've had the other lads on, so we're desperate in need of him today.
Scraping the barrel, they are.
Scraping the barrel. You all know him on here as the Ring Magazine champ. But for other people, he's the host of his own show, Jay's Fight Talk, and co-host of SW Fight Hub, Mr. Jay Murphy. Mate, thanks for coming back on the show. Much appreciate it. Always love having you on.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Just quickly, obviously, like, share, and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to the channel. I just mentioned there, Jay, about the Ring Magazine belt. Now, I might have to we haven't spoken to you for a while. Might have to change that title because I know you love your UFC. I know you love your one champion, one belt. Are we going to start calling you the Zuffa champion instead?
I think so. I think it's going to have to be the Zuffa boxing, or possibly the IBO champion. The green. I do like it. Who can't love a bin green belt?
You can walk it around Brighton.
I don't think there's any left. Eubanks Jr.'s got them all.
Yeah.
I was actually being serious. On a serious note, what do you think of that, mate? What do you think of the one belt, one champion in boxing, Zuffa? What's your take on that belt?
I'm still taking it with a pinch of salt. Dana White, who is sort of the head of Zuffa boxing with the Fertitta brothers, who is the honorary chairman of the UFC, or the face of the UFC, likes to disrupt. He's a boxing guy, so that's his original sport, and he just fell into sort of UFC. So he's always wanted to try it, and he tried it about 4 or 5 years ago, and it just fell flat on its face. Do you remember when Oscar De La Hoya did the MMA show? It was to sort of counteract that, and Oscar fell flat on his face, and Zuffa boxing sort of dissipated into the ether. So I'm still very apprehensive. I've seen the alleged pay structure. It's poor, very poor, but UFC pay in terms of revenue, which I know certainly at the top end, boxers are paid based on revenue and purse bids, etc. It's a little bit different lower down. They won't get many big names fighting for the purses they're offering. I think the top purse is 600k, and that's for a champion defending his belt, which is not enough. I think there's a place for it within the game, but they're not going to revolutionize boxing. People have tried to do that for the 150 years we've had sort of Queensberry rules, and here we are with more champions than we've ever had, interim champion in recess. So yeah, I think new for the sport is always good because it brings different eyes with different perspective, different fan bases. But I think at this point, it is more to do with growing a brand and dipping the toe in to see the potential. I don't believe that it'll change the face of boxing. I think it'll just sit alongside. Turkey did it, didn't he? He came in, threw a load of money at it. I know he's got a proportion of it, but boxing's still running as boxing always had. Some of the big boys are now all on one network, but he's not in charge of boxing. And I believe that he's started looking at football, and he's like a dog. It's tennis ball over there, and you throw a bit of sausage over there, and it goes over there. He'll just go wherever he fancies. He's in talks to buy Bristol City and hop it. And I think Dana's at that stage. He's a multi-millionaire. He can do what he wants. Bit of a philanthropist. So I'm not as sold by it as some, but excited nonetheless. It's new money and new eyes on the sport.
So I take that as a no. Then we're keeping it as a Ring Magazine champion.
I'll keep my Ring Magazine championship for now. Thank you.
That's the only one that matters, mate. Right, let's jump into the preview for the weekend, guys. It's obviously the big one, Saturday night. Is it the big one? Well, let's get into it. Saturday night at the O2, interim champion versus interim champion, if you want to take anything out of that guy. Joseph Parker, Fabio Wardley, 12 rounds of heavyweight boxing, all roads apparently leading to Usyk. All or nothing, this has been dubbed by Queensberry. We've got obviously Joseph Parker, the WBO interim champion, 36-3, 24 knockouts, only stopped once in his professional career by Joe Joyce. And obviously Fabio Wardley coming from that white collar background, 19-0, 18 KOs, now being kind of dubbed the Deontay Wilder of British boxing. So lads, who's getting knocked out then? Where do we see this one going on Saturday night at the O2?
I mean, it's not a fight I was gasping to see, if I'm honest. I do rate both highly. It's not because of who they are and where they are within the sport. I just think Joseph Parker's sort of got the shitty end of the stick in terms of, he should be facing Usyk now.
Yeah.
And he's not. And he's fighting in a risky fight. But I just believe that the boxes have already been ticked by Parker, and I think Wardley's still working his way through ticking those boxes. You know, he had a comeback win in his last fight, and he had a blood and guts war with, you know, people are forgetting that, yes, he smashed Fraser Clark in the last fight, but the fight they had prior to that was, you know,
Super
I thought
close,
he
wasn't it?
lost. I thought he lost, to be honest, and I'm not, you know, I've got no axe to grind. I'm just giving my honest opinion. I actually thought he lost. And Fraser is, no disrespect to Big Fraser, but he's domestic at this point in his career and a couple of levels below Parker. Parker's tried and tested. He's on his second lap, so to speak. He's been around the, you know, did he lose his belt to Andy Ruiz originally? No, he won his belt against Ruiz, didn't he? When he should have lost.
Lost to AJ, didn't he? One of the worst
that's it.
heavyweight unifications ever.
Awful. But he seems to have reinvented himself under his, you know, guise of Andy Lee. And I just think he outdoes Wardley in 90% of areas, maybe other than one punch knockout power. I think he hits sort of consistently harder because Wardley sort of loads up and throws single knockout blows. Parker can hit pretty hard at sort of 50%, and he'll continually jab. For me, there's only ever been one winner of this fight, and that's not changed since the fight was made, other than the way that I feel that the fight's going to end. I'm picking Joseph Parker to win. I was picking him for a UD, but I think he's going to stop Fabio later on. I think we've got something like a 10th round stoppage. I think Fabio's going to blow a gasket trying to knock Parker out. So I think Parker will outbox him. So he'll find himself in a similar position that he was with Hune. But Parker's a lot more slick, and he won't throw that shot with his eyes closed and his head down and walk on. I just don't believe he'll catch him like that. I think Dillian White caught him, didn't he?
Yeah.
Unbeknownst when they boxed late on. Or did he knock Dillian White down? No, Dillian White
knocked
him down, didn't he?
He knocked him down, yeah. He's been down a few times.
Dillian White was surviving towards the end of that fight, wasn't he?
That's it. He got a big lead, didn't he? And then he sort of run out of steam. I rate Fabio, but I just don't think he's at this level yet. Or whether he is ever going to be at Parker's. I just think Parker's just better than him in, as I say, other than one punch instant knockout power. So I'm backing Parker to better him. So be leading. It's not going to be a knockout like he did to Hune. I think Parker will edge him in on points and then just stop him later on when Wardley's chasing the fight. Because he's trained by Ben Davison. Ben Davison's renowned for telling his fighters to just look what happened to Joshua against Dubois. Yeah. He took instruction for him, put it on him, go for it. If he's behind, I think Ben will do that. And Fabio, I don't think slick enough. I think he'll be very reckless, and that's where we'll see Parker's better boxing come in. And I think he'll catch him late. 10th round TKO I'm going for.
I've just got a feeling it's going to be one of these sort of situations. You know, when Dillian White was sort of sitting in that area where he was mandatory for like 3 years or however long it was, you know, and then when the time came where it came around, you know, he come unstuck.
Yeah,
I've just got this sort of feeling that Parker should have had his shot at Usyk for so long, and we've been talking about it because of the run he went on. That, you know, like it's sort of written in the stars to go against him. I've just got this awful feeling that's what's going to happen. Everything leans towards Joseph Parker. He's been in with the better opponent. You know, he's been a world champion. You know, it all leans to that. But you know, we all know in boxing it doesn't always work that way. And I've got a feeling that that Wardley's going to do it and shock everyone. And I wanted to say to you guys there, like, so obviously everyone's going on about the run, and rightly so, of the names that he's beaten in his last 3 fights. So we've got Zhang, we've got
Bacoli,
and Deontay Wilder. But if we want to dissect them opponents, really, as to where they are, where they've been in these last couple of years, name value it is, but
they're not that good.
Wilder, as we know what's happened to Wilder, he can't throw a shot now. He can't get his feet into position to land that right that got him out of so much trouble in all the fights. I mean, you know, he was 9 rounds down against Ortiz and pulled a howitzer out and bang. You know, he can't land that shot anymore. But Coley was on a plane in jeans. Yeah. Overweight.
25 stone or whatever he was.
Yeah. And Zhang's good for 4 rounds, and and obviously Zhang has got a fantastic left hook and can walk you onto it and stop you any time. But Zhang's had performances where
he's old and he's very ploddy, isn't he, Zhang?
Yeah. So when you look at them 3 wins, name-wise, name very fantastic, and they are. You know, when you look at the stage, are they? If you know what I mean, I just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
You know, there's a question to be had about them, innit? But you know what I mean.
Would you not say that certainly 2 of the 3 are better than what Wardley is now, or do you think Wardley beats Zhang, Bakole, and Wilder?
I think he beats Wilder.
Yeah.
For sure.
Agree.
But a fit Bakole, you know, there's only one fight before that we're talking about Bakole being the boogeyman. No one wanted to go near him. What he'd done to Jared Anderson, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, and you know, and he come on, you know, late notice. I think that needs to be taken into account. So Bakole, a fit Bakole is a hard night's work. So that's the touch and go. And Zhang, I think he'd beat Zhang now. I think he would beat Zhang now. But, you know, just going on resumes and stuff like that, it's chalk and cheese from where they are. Fabio's on the way up. And like you said, he's fighting at British level. But I just also think timing's everything in this for me. You know what I mean? Like, Parker's been sitting on it for a little while. He's had his, not saying he's had his time. He's had some good wins. But I just feel it's not changing the guard. It's not the right words. But I just feel like his timing's everything. And I feel like that's Fabio Wardley's time.
I agree. Like I said earlier when I first started talking, he's on his 2nd lap.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's the worst. You know, he needed his shot when he had his momentum. He got no momentum going into this fight, really.
No.
You know, he's coming off wins, but as you said, they are wins against named opponents more than people at the peak of their powers. Yeah. Wardley's probably got the better win in terms of he boxed somebody that's top 20, fresh, young, unbeaten, you know, and dug out something. So, you know, it proved a lot of things for me. I just think that Parker still has enough left to be able to get past a very inexperienced young man.
Yeah, I agree. It's a fair point. It really is. And we've watched enough boxing to know that anything can happen.
Absolutely, I would not be surprised if Fabio Wardley just walked through him, caught him early and knocked him out because he's got that kind of power.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, I would also not be surprised if Parker ended him early. This fight could go one of 2 ways, couldn't it? It's going to be a blood and guts war that goes long, or it could go early because they're up there in terms of power. They've both got, you know, concussive power. Parker, he's not really known for it now, but when he first came through, that's what Parker was known for, being a knockout merchant, you know, and it's only over recent years that as he's gone up the levels that power's not really transferred across. But you know, I wasn't, like, as I said, I'm full of contradictions. You guys know that, but I wasn't excited. But the closer the fight gets, I start to get a little bit more excited. You know, you see the presses and we get closer. I think it'll be a good fight for as long as it lasts.
I think it's for their styles. I think their styles gel very well. They're going to meet each other in the ring, and they are going to throw bombs. So it's gonna make for a good spectacle. It really, really is. And like you said, they both got power that can end the fight, you know, instantly. I would lean more to Fabio, like you say, with a one-punch power. But what happened? You know, what happens when, you know, the fight goes on, and you know, he's, like you say, he's trying to load up, and it's not happening. Do you know what I mean? It worked with Justice Huni. Justice Huni was winning every round, and he pulled out that howitzer, as Dave would always say, and you know, and it's a great talk to have. Like we said, when mentioned Deontay Wilder, he got out of jail with that a few times, and it's a lovely talk to have. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the fight as well. I'll let Dave chat now, and then I'll do my.
Yeah, sorry, Dave. We've just
no. That's what you're here for, mate. That's all valid points. I'm glad you brought up, Dave, the Deontay Wilder and Luis Ortiz moment, because I think that's what it is. When Deontay Wilder used to say, "You need 36 minutes, I need 1 second." I think this is definitely what it is. And I kind of disagree with Jay in the terms of Parker being more of a puncher back then. I think he's a lot more aggressive now, boys. I think Parker's a lot more aggressive, trying to take the opponent out now. I found him a bit of a ball when he was a champion. I think he's better now than he was a champion.
I do, and I'm not disagreeing with you. What I meant, I'll clarify the statement. What I meant is he was known more as a puncher back then, whereas now he's known more of a boxer with power.
That's fair.
They sort of hung his hat on him being this knockout merchant when he started coming through.
Yeah,
that's what I meant by it. He has changed his style, and I think he's a lot more aggressive now.
Yeah,
he's less boring to watch now, I believe.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. I was listening to Ben Davison on Talk Sport last week, and he was kind of saying that Justice Huni is a harder puzzle to work out than Joseph Parker. And obviously, straight away, like people like Simon Jordan disagree because of what Parker's done, and Huni, nobody really heard of him till he come to these shores. But if you go and watch that fight, Huni's got a lot of good. He's got good feet. He's got good lateral movement. He's in and out. He looks probably better than
Very
what
good,
Joseph Parker did. He doesn't get hit as much. And like Dave said, he landed that one hit a quitter and got rid of him. So I'm not saying it's 50-50. I do edge a lot to Parker, but I don't think he's going to be stupid enough to get drawn into a trading war with Fabio Wardley, because he has got that one hit a quitter. He has got that one punch power. But I can see him dropping his hands and Fabio landing. But the thing with Joseph Parker, boys, every time he's got knocked down, he's got back up, bar that Joe Joyce demolition job that Joe Joyce strangely done in him that night. So
yeah,
I can see it going either way. And I've had a nosy at the bookies, lads. Joseph Parker's 9-2 on favourite to win that fight, and Wardley's 3-1, and he's 4-1 with Paddy Power to get the KO. I mean, what do you think of those prices? I mean, to win 3-1, that's Wardley by points. I just can't see that. And 4-1 with a knockout. I would have said 3-1 with a knockout. But,
yeah. I probably would. I mean, as you know, I'm leaning towards. Did you say Joseph Parker's 9-2 on?
Yeah, just to win the fight.
Wow. And I mean, the bookies very rarely get it wrong. But
that's
again,
what I was thinking.
Yeah. I'd like to see what Fabio. I know Fabio was losing, but can he come back from a knockdown, for example? You know, he got wobbled a couple of times against Fraser Clark.
Yeah, he did, Jay. You're right, yeah.
You know, he got really wobbled and hurt in that fight and got stung just before he knocked Clark out, if you remember. He got stung,
back to your original point, mate, about Parker's power. Does Parker hit harder than Fraser Clark, do you think? Because could he be the one to stop him, you know?
Yeah, you know, I think he does it harder than Fraser. No disrespect to Fraser, but I don't think he's necessarily that concussive a puncher. Puts them together well. You know, he's an Olympic level boxer, so his skill set's very good. As I think Parker was an Olympian. I might be wrong, but
yeah, he was. Yeah,
he was. So his fundamentals are there. But again, you know, and you mentioned the white collar thing. You know, we're past that now with Fabio. Fabio's one of the best British trainers. You know, he's not even up and coming anymore. Ben Davison's got a decent stable, and he knows his boxing. He's a student of the game. Fabio has decent boxing fundamentals. His feet are all right. He does trip over himself every now and again.
They're getting better, aren't they?
They are. You can see that he is getting exponentially better. He is improving.
Yeah.
But so's Joseph Parker. Like we said, Parker's on a right run. Yes, the names are just names, but you can cliche. You can only beat whoever's put in front of you, and he's done that up to this point.
Yeah.
It is a pick 'em, isn't it? I know the Parker's favourite. I'm picking him and leaning to him. But, you know, this fight could end up as a split decision. It could be one of them fights, couple of knockdowns, you know, couple of 10-8s, point deduction, whatnot. I don't think it's going to just be a smooth run. I think we're going to see knockdowns. I think we're going to see somebody have to go through something. They're going to have to pull something out to get a win. I don't think it'll be lopsided either, lopsided either way. I think Parker might edge him on points, but could get wobbled. And I would like to see Fabio come through as an underdog. You know, I've got no skin in the game. I've just made a pick. I don't favour either because I like Parker. You know, he's not. You can't not. Anybody that don't like him is just an asshole for me. He's not. He's a nice guy.
That's true.
He is.
Trash talk. He takes the piss out of himself. He does these mad viral videos, doesn't he, laughing at himself. You know, he's a likable guy. And he's been the proverbial sparring partner. He's sort of I don't want to say a better version of Dave Allen, but for a lot of times he was the world level sparring that you brought in, the guy that you brought into your camp. Money was part of the Fury camp and things like that. So, you know, as I said, I wasn't enamored when it was first made, but the closer it gets, I'm getting more and more excited.
We've mentioned Ben Davison. We also got to mention Andy Lee in this. He's a very good trainer. You know, he was a good boxer, world champion. Could bang himself. Again, we talk about being
one of
in
the
trouble.
best comeback knockouts I've ever seen is when he folded. Was it Jackson?
Yeah,
was it Jackson or Johnson? Do you
remember Jay anyway? Yeah.
I remember, he's on the ropes. Yeah, he sort of rolled on his ankle, didn't he? And they thought he had him, so he went in for the kill. And Andy Lee caught him with a left hook on the way in, face planted him. Yeah, unbelievable. And he's turned out to be an unbelievable coach. He really, really has. And he'll be coming with a game plan as well. He'll know exactly what's coming from what Fabio's going to be offering, and they'll work on that. So, you know, there's two high-level coaches in either corner. So that's a chess match in itself, which is a great matchup. Just that alone,
Yeah, it's intriguing, isn't it?
Yeah.
If Parker loses, do you reckon he goes down another rebuild? Because literally, this is a rebuild, isn't it? Since he lost his title, had a setback against Joe Joyce, and we were like, "This is it now." He's won his world title. He's at a certain level. He could be like a gatekeeper, and then he's gone on the crest of a wave under Andy Lee. If he loses on Saturday night, do we see another rebuild, or is it dust itself down, or is it kind of, well, this is it now. I haven't got my chance. What are you boys thinking? I don't know if like with AJ, I want to see a rebuild, but I don't want to see the rebuild he had with the 4 opponents he had that didn't ask him any questions. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you think if he gets beat, and if he gets beat convincingly as well?
If he gets beat convincingly, I think you'll see him in with somebody like Chisora, or you might see him, that kind of level. He might rematch Bacoli maybe on a full camp. I don't think the age is at. I think, what is he, mid-30s now?
33. Yeah.
Oh, right. So he's younger than I thought. I thought he was about 36. I don't think he'll need a total rebuild. I think he'll fight again fairly soon after, he loses. But I think it also depends on what Fabio goes on to do after that. So say Fabio goes on and challenges Usyk and takes him to points and does really well. I think the level of opponent Parker gets next, because that defeat will age better depending on what Fabio does. Yeah. Unless he ices him in round 1, and then we could see him, like I say, fight someone like Chisora or Dillian White, maybe. One of those kind of
different mindset as well. I suppose he's got now, hasn't he? Maybe pre-Joyce, he might have. Yeah, I understand. So I know Jay's give his prediction round 10. Dave, what are you thinking? Are you going with the UK version of Deontay Wilder? Reading between the lines, mate.
I am. I think there's going to be two. There's going to be knockdowns from each side. I think we're going to have that. I think Fabio Wardley's going to get the KO, and I think he's going to get it in round 7.
Wow, tractor squad.
If that happens, I will go to Ipswich.
I like that, tractor squad. Yeah. I'm going to go for Parker in 8. I'm going to go for Parker in 8. I just think this 2.0 version, he's not going to. It's just better. It's just better. And obviously, it got exposed a lot last time against Hooney, and he pulled that howitzer out, as we like to say. I'm not sure if I agree with Ben Davison if Hooney's technically better. I can see what he means, but Parker's a different animal now.
I think he's more
shots. And
I think. Sorry to interject.
No, go on. No.
I think that Ben. So you can say it's true to a degree. I think what it is with Hooney, he does a lot of unorthodox movement, whereas Parker's a lot more traditional.
Yeah.
So I think
straight lines, you mean?
Yeah, straight lines. And Hooney will throw a jab off, pivoting off, and a funny angle. So I think he's more awkward. I don't think he's any better. I think traditionally and fundamentally, Parker is proven at a higher level. Hooney might get to that point, but at the minute, I just think he might be just more awkward and maybe harder to train for, but not necessarily harder to beat. Maybe that's my take on it.
He showed a lot of inexperience, Hooney, as well, because Hooney had that fight won. He didn't need to go and throw that shot that he got caught.
Could have just boxed on the back foot, couldn't he?
Yeah, just sort of fight out. That shows a lot of experience. Well, inexperience in his case. Parker's not going to do that.
No.
Parker's got the fight won. Yeah, exactly.
Just before we move on to the one of the undercard fights, what do you guys think of this being £25? 2 payables as well, remember, because it's on DAZN. So you've got your subscription and another £25 on top of this.
I don't rate that, because it's not even a card worth 25 quid, if that makes any sense.
No, it's not. I agree.
Like the 5v5 or a Canelo card. If it's a Canelo card, he's fighting Crawford, for example. There's a massive fight at the top. This is not a massive fight. It's a decent trade fight with some all right trade fights underneath it. It's not a £25. It's a tenner max. But we're paying whatever you're paying your month. Some people are paying 25 quid a month anyway for this. And there's another pay-per-view at the back end of the month. It's too much for me. It's expensive.
And the way the rumours are that it's selling, you could probably go there on Saturday for 25 quid.
I think the seat's still left.
Yeah, there is. I'm hearing it. I mean, I know it's all rumours, but I'm hearing it hasn't sold great anyway.
There's a lot of. Sorry, Jay.
I just thought it was too big a venue. I said that on our pod when it was first made with Liam, who is obviously a massive fan of Wardley because he's from the same area. I just think they've over-egged it. I don't think it's as a bigger attraction as, we're boxing fans, hardcore boxing fans, so we will watch it. But yeah, you casuals not interested in this fight.
No.
Your Fabio Wardley fans are, and Parker's got some fans, but most of Parker's fans will chip in a $5 each and watch it round at one at Lad's house. They're not going to spend 500, 600, 700 quid to go down south to watch it on a freezing October night. Yeah, they should have done this in the O2 or somewhere like that, in front of 20-odd thousand, and had it, packed to the rafters. It's going to be a lot of empty seats for me.
There's a lot of yeah, I agree. There's a lot of competitions going about as well, cash giveaways and ticket giveaways to get the tickets. And they're quite lucky, really, because remember, lads, it was supposed to be Fraser Clark versus Jamie TKV on Saturday as well. For whatever you think of that.
That would have taken eyes off as well.
Yeah, it would have, yeah.
On the BBC, so... yeah, it is what it is.
Jay, what did...
Sorry, just a quick one. Have they announced an opponent yet for Fraser Clark?
No, they've moved it, haven't they?
Yeah, yes, right. For Ben Whittaker's fight.
Yeah, they've moved it.
Yeah,
I was just you mentioned Liam there, Jay. Did he? Is he going with his heart or head? Can you remember?
Oh, he's not going to go with anything other than his six-fingered brother there, Fabio Wardley.
No,
no, he's going to back his boy, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. Undercard, Ezra Taylor versus Steed Woodall, 10 rounds in the light heavyweight division, should I say. It was supposed to be Louis Edmondson versus Ezra Taylor for the British. Woodall's a late replacement for Louis Edmondson. I think when I had you on here before, Joe, we had a little talk about Edmondson, and me and Dave spoke about him last week. I'm kind of gutted for Ezra Taylor. This fight is off, because I think Ezra Taylor is a front-footed, aggressive, spiteful, fast fighter. We'd have asked him a few questions. We can't take to Edmondson's boxing style. I find him very boring, very back-footed. He doesn't do anything wrong technically. It's not great to the optic test. So I'm kind of gutted for Ezra Taylor in that way. But this fight on Saturday night, Woodall's coming up. It probably is. Woodall's coming up from super middle. I think we last seen him against with Callum Smith. Very poor stoppage.
Simpson.
But pre to that, Callum Simpson's better pardon. But he knocked out Lerone Richards like the fight before that. So there's something about Woodall. But he's the underdog going into the Lerone Richards fight. But Ezra Taylor's the main attraction here. To be fair, the Queensbury boy. What we thinking here? I like what I see from Taylor stepping up. Frank's putting him on, going up the levels. Slowly.
Yeah.
We'll mention in a minute where he goes next if he does win on Saturday night, because there's plenty of opportunities there. And we mentioned a certain Mr. BW earlier in the path he's going down. But Ezra Taylor, Steed Woodall, boys, on Saturday night, how's this one play out?
I think it's a better fight than the Edmondson fight anyway. It's an opportunity it's a breakout opportunity for Taylor on a big card. My only concern is, even though Woodall's stepping up a division, he has boxed at a way higher level. I mean, his 3 losses are, is it Steve Rolls on an American card? I think Padraig McCrory beat him, and obviously Callum Simpson. Ezra Taylor's biggest win is Troy James. Can he do it at the levels? Because Woodall gave Simpson decent rounds. Was in that fight in spits and spurts.
The stoppage was a bit premature in that fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, dubious stoppage for me. But if Taylor's as good as we're being led to believe he is, then he should be able to beat a super middleweight stepping up.
Yeah.
At short notice as well.
Very short notice.
That higher level has been at the weight division below, and it is a bit of a jump. It's not. We're not talking a couple of pounds here. It's a lot of weight, really.
Are you like what you're seeing from him, OJ? I don't think he's really put a step wrong. Yeah, Ezra Taylor.
As you said, he's ticked all the boxes. He's slick, hits hard, he's aggressive, likes a fight, will hold his feet if he's got to, but can box as well.
Yeah.
I think if he puts on a decent performance, then I'm excited to see what's next, because he's in a decent division as well. There's some good fights out there for him.
Very good division.
Some really good domestic fights, and I think the division he's in, it's not that hard to bridge the gap between domestic and world. It's similar to cruiser. There's not that many good at that, at that weight. So it's you can fast track. So if he gets a good win here against a tough opponent, then I think we might see him I think this is a WBO. It's got Summit on it, some European ranking. But I think you know, is he a million miles away from the likes of the guys challenging at the top? I don't want to say Yard, but, you know, there's the Boatses, the Azizes. You know, he's got to be around that level soon. And I think a good performance on Saturday night sees him put in that mix.
That's why I mentioned Ben Whittaker, mate. The disappointment of what... Well, we don't know your views on his German opponent. I think it's an absolute shit show, to be honest. And these guys like Ezra Taylor, Shakan Pitters, Lerone, you know, it's awful.
Crap. It's awful. It feels like they've spent all the money on Ben, and they've got 75 quid left. So they've got this. They've brought. It's shit, mate. It's so that Ben Whittaker can do the moonwalking, banging him on the head,
correct?
All that crap for the BBC audience. They're hoping that the casual audience and the mainstream audience, you know, see Ben, and they're all like, wow. Because I think Ben Whittaker's great, and you know, I think his boxing ability is actually underrated because he does a lot of the shit, which he put to bed when he just walked through Liam Cameron in the rematch, which I said he would do. But I'm disappointed. I wanted to see him in a proper fight. I mean, he could have boxed Ezra Taylor in his comeback fight, could he not?
I'd have been happy with that. I would have been buzzing for that, mate.
Absolutely. I think it would have been more of a fight. I don't want to see him in knockovers and pushovers. No. You know, Eddie Earns brought him over here to be a star. I get that, but yeah, I'm not sold on that opponent at all.
There's a lot to like about Ezra Taylor. Like I say, he's got good lateral movement. Like you said, he plants his feet, throws a spiteful shot. I think I like his defense as well, though. I think he's quite sound defensively. I think of the footage and the fights you watch him, and he's very much on the front foot, but he slips a shot very well.
Yeah,
you know, and I think this like you, I agree with both of you here. I think the Steve Woodall opponent, Steve Woodall, is a better fight because he isn't going to have to go looking for Steve Woodall. And I think that'll make a better fight for it. And and I'm looking forward to this more than the Louis Edmondson fight because I feel like Louis Edmondson does prefer to box on the back foot. He will make it, boring. And I think that you know, Ezra Taylor, the fight that he's in now, you know, like you said there, if he just wants to be a star, wants to have eyes on him, I believe that Steve Woodall's a good opponent for that. And I've got no issues with the fight, mate. And there's a lot to like Ezra Taylor, and I think, like you said, I think they're moving him correctly. You know, they're not rushing, but there's so much to work with there, and I think this is going to be a good fight for how long it lasts.
How long does it last him?
For me, I think Ezra Taylor gets the stoppage. I can see like a body shot or something like that where he puts him down. You know, like Steve Woodall will get up. You know, be one of them ones where it's tough again. Like say we mentioned the stoppage against Callum Simpson. He got knocked down just before that. Got up at 9, and then the referee couldn't really wait to get in and stop him. You know, so I can see him being dropped like that. But you know, it'll be convincing this time. I'm going to go for Ezra Taylor to stop him in round 5.
Wow.
I've
picked you. Sorry, go on.
I'm picking him left, right, and centre today.
Yeah, I'm picking him for the win, but I think it's actually. I think Steed will be able to manipulate his way through and keep his defenses tight. Because look, he's taking it at short notice. I think, you know, whether he was training or not, he wasn't training for Ezra Taylor on the Parker Wardley card in front of a massive, gate and television audience. So I think he's going to box very cautiously. So I'm picking Taylor on points, unanimous decision. I think it'll be comfortable for him, but I think he might get frustrated because Steed's got a fairly decent defense. He got a bit ragged against Callum Simpson and got caught in exchanges. Callum didn't really find his way through his guard. You know, he exchanged with him and came off second best. I don't think he'll do that with Taylor because of how aggressive Taylor is. I think we'll see him tuck and keep tight and look to try boxing clusters to score points. But I think he'll get to a point, maybe 6-7 rounds, where he knows he's losing the fight and he might go into sparring mode. So I think that Ezra Taylor, I mean, I would not be surprised if he stopped him, but I'm picking him for unanimous points decision.
No, fair.
The only thing that worries me about Ezra Taylor is that he's under the tutelage now with Malik Scott.
Oh God!
You know what happened when Malik Scott took over from Mark Breland with
I'm
Deontay
going Woodall first round knockout.
Yeah, it's a bit off-putting, isn't it?
Scott. Jesus.
Yeah.
Right. Okay then. Yeah, not a boxing trainer for me. I'm sorry.
No.
Being a boxer does not automatically make you a trainer. We've seen that with footballers, have we not?
Yeah,
Some of
absolutely.
the greatest footballers Roy Keane, I'll give you an example. Roy Keane, one of the greatest midfielders the Premier League has ever seen, and I hate Man United, right? Shit coach, not a man manager, expects everyone to do what he can do. Wayne Rooney, terrible footballer, terrible coach. Even Tom Brady said he was shit, and he was his chairman and CEO at the time. I just don't rate Malik Scott as a coach.
No, I don't
think he's no good.
Yeah, I'll go Ezra Taylor in 8. I think it wasn't tongue in cheek to be fair, but Malik Scott hasn't got a great reputation, especially with Deontay Wilder, how he's trying to change him from that killer into a boxer. But I think he'll smell blood, Taylor, when he gets Woodall hurt. Like Dave said, a body shot, and then he'll go in for the kill. I like what I see from him. So yeah, I'm gonna go for round 8. So yes. Danny Quartermain versus Royston Barney-Smiths. A couple of IBO and WBO European titles on the line here, lads. Ranking belts. Obviously, whoever wins here, they get probably ranked in the top 15 with these sanctioning bodies. Very similar records here on paper. And if you listen to some of the paid pundits and some of the social media, it looks like it's a 50-50. Again, I go back to the bookies, lads. Barney-Smith's 10-1 on here, but Quartermain 6-1. So really, by the bookies, it's not a 50-50. I mean, I've seen more of Barney-Smith than I have of Quartermain. Quartermain been boxing on the Izzy Aziz shows with GBM. Barney-Smith's come from that traveller background. He's come that he's part of that new kind of breed now where they're turning into pros. They're looking very slick, very good, good on the mic, very sellable. I like what I see from Barney-Smith. He's quite a big super featherweight as well.
Yeah.
So I would edge to Barney-Smith, but that's being unfair to Quartermain because I haven't seen a lot of him, lads.
For me, it's not a 50-50 fight. I have Barney-Smith as the favourite. I think Quartermain's, they're both 14. I think Quartermain's got a draw. He drew with Jack Bateson, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
and we saw what
technical draw.
In his last fight. Jack Bateson was the Sky Scholar. They went to the Olympics. Just for whatever reason, it's just not working for him in the pro game. I think one of his stablemates, Cass Ashfaq's a bit like that. Has all the skills, but just can't put it together on fight night, and just it doesn't win. I think Quartermain's best win is, I want to say, I've got it written down, Jack Hillier, who was 9-0 at the time. That's the only one other than Bateson that had a winning record. Hillier's never boxed since. Barney-Smith has had some half decent wins on his career. I've got Barajas, who was 6-0. Navarrete, not that Navarrete, 11-2. and Rayo. So whereas Quartermain's gone the traditional route, so a couple of Eastern Europeans and then domestic journeymen, Royston Barney-Smith's been in with some sort of Nicaraguans, Panamanians, Mexicans. You can see what they're doing with him. They're getting him because at that weight division, a lot of the champions are American, South American, Mexican, that type of. So he's got 3 decent wins. I think he hits harder. I think for me, he just edges Quartermain in everything that they do. Very similar to what I said about the main event. I think his feet are faster. He has a lot more punch variety for me. Hits pretty hard. And as you said, he is very big for the weight division. Yes, whereas Quartermain is a more traditional, probably boils down 5 or 6 pounds. I can see Royston Barney-Smith maybe starting his weight cut 2 weeks before, maybe having to shed 15, 20 pounds maybe. He's got a big frame, a very big frame. So I'm leaning towards Smith. What did I go for? Smith TKO round 5.
Yeah,
I'm a fairly comfortable night.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm leaning towards Barney-Smith. I just feel like he does everything a little bit better, at this stages in their careers and in their progression. Like I say, 14 fights in. Like I say, he's the taller, he's the rangier guy. He sits down and he shots, and he puts his boxing together very well. I'm going to lean towards Barney-Smith, and I'm going to think it's going to go to points. I think it's going to be a points win here, but I think it's going to be a comfortable points win.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see this being a good scrap. To be fair, I really can.
Good.
On this platform, on this stage, on pay-per-view, I think Barney-Smith might try and make a bit of a statement here. I'm going to go the same way as Joe. I think he's going to get a stoppage. I'm going to go a little bit earlier. I think he's going to come out the blocks fast, be flashy, just trying to look the part, trying to sell himself a little bit as he normally does. I'm going to go for round 4. However, do you boys think now that the supposed relationship between Eddie and Frank, they're such good friends, etc.? We saw a fight last week, lads, with Reece Bellotti and Josh Padley, and I saw a lot of frailties in Padley. I think we kind of might have been hoodwinked by the Mark Chamberlain win and the going in with Shakur. I think if he looks good here, Royston Barney-Smith, I'd call for someone like Josh Padley next as a step-up opponent because I'm not sold anymore.
I'm not. I thought he lost that. He lost that fight.
He did.
Oh, Bellotti did, yeah.
Yeah,
I think it'd be perfect for Barney-Smith. That's if he comes through a fight on Saturday night. You know, he's not there yet, but
or even the Bellotti fight.
Bellotti, yeah.
You know, either of those two would be a fantastic name on his record, and would be again 2 or 3 levels above. No disrespect to Quartermain, but you know, tried and tested guys that have boxed at domestic, British, Commonwealth, European, and world level. You know, Padley, albeit short notice, and got run over. But no, I agree that I was disappointed in what I saw. I expected Padley to, put on a performance and win that fight. I'd picked him to win. But yeah, I thought he lost. So no, good call. If he blasts through him, then yeah, he wants to be screaming for any of them. I think, the times now, he's 14 fights in. He's boxed at a decent level. As I said, I've named 3 opponents that all had decent winning records, South Americans, etc. So yeah, I'm excited for that. That's one of the fights on the mediocre undercard that I said I slagged off about 10 minutes ago. But
it'd be good.
Could be a good fight.
It is though.
That'd be good if they could call it for the British title or something like that. Call a fight like that for the British.
Yeah.
I think that Ryan Garner's got that at the moment, isn't he? Garner, he's got the European as well. He's another Queensbury fight, isn't he? So again, that's another.
But yeah, Garner moves on. Garner moves on. Vacates. You know what I mean? They could make the call. Barney-Smith, Padley. You know what I mean? Or something like that. It'd be good.
Good fight.
Definitely. Before we move over to Kyrgyzstan, wherever that fucking hell that is, I've got no idea. Jay, you wanted to mention about Mitchell Smith and his journey. I don't know too much about him. So you are right. The card is stacked, but it's stacked full of kids and probably a Queensbury version of next gen. But the Michael Smith versus, is it Arnie Dawson?
Arnie Dawson, 8-0 is Mitchell Smith. So for people that don't know, Mitchell Smith was the Royston Barney-Smith of Queensbury. What? Nearly 10 years ago. He was steamrolling people. He was, he's a puncher. I think he was at featherweight then.
Yeah, he was.
Maybe super featherweight. He's coming back at lightweight. I think he believed his own hype a bit, and he came up against George Jupp. And George Jupp, for anybody that knows him, he's really awkward.
Yeah,
he's decent, but Mitchell Smith should have beat him. Anyway, he lost. Right.
I remember that fight. Yeah.
And then his career I think his life maybe capitulated.
Yeah, it did.
And he made some terrible decisions. I don't know exactly what, but look, he went away for a while. That's all we need to know, right? And we didn't see him again until, I think, 2022, I think he boxed.
Yeah.
2022, then disappeared again until 2024. He seems to have got his life back in order. He's had a couple of sort of, I don't even want to say semi-pro, but maybe white-collar fights.
Yeah.
That he had
was
booked in.
Fighting in Watford, in Watford nightclubs and that he was fighting in.
And then he's got the bug back. He's lost all the weight. And Frank's giving him an opportunity because Frank was his promoter back when he was in his prime. He was one of their star boys around the same time. It came through sort of just after Kevin Mitchell. And they had,
in 2015, he was young. In 2015, he was young fighter of the year. Yeah, he was, yeah.
You name fighters that have won that, they've not ordinarily gone on to become, world champions. But look, he's making a comeback as such on the big stage. It's for the WBO European or something like that. He's fighting a decent prospect. I'm not sure because I don't know what Mitchell Smith's going to turn up underneath the bright lights. But I just wanted to, wish him all the best. May the best man win. But it's good to see him back because, there are boxers that slip through the cracks. My brother was a professional at a decent level, won an English belt, boxed for the British, and boxing spat him out with nothing but CTE. So I know what boxing can be very, very cruel if you don't make it to the very top. A lot of people see the glitz and glamour of AJ and think once you make it as a pro, you're loaded. That's not the case. Mitchell works, and has had to work to support his family. So it's good to see him back.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him get the win, and that's no disrespect to his opponent,
Yeah.
you know. But I know Mitchell. I've interacted with him. I've met him on the scene over the years and stuff. I've known him since we were a kid. So I'm looking forward to seeing whether he can have another run at the age that he's in. So good luck, Mitchell Smith.
Yeah, I
Thanks
agree.
for that, mate.
So Mitchell Smith lives just up the road from me in Harrow. He's in
All
Harrow.
right, okay.
I'm in Norfolk, and I've got friends who are friends with him, and I've been chatting to him all through fight week, and you know, who are close to him, and you know, he's up for this fight, and I'm with you, mate. I echo everything that you say. I know the Mitchell Smith story. You know, I followed his fights just like yourself. You know, I watched the Jupp fight. I remember years ago, he had all the talent in the world. You know, slipped off the rise. It happens. And it'd be a lovely comeback story, and I echo your sentiments. I wish him all the best, and really hope that I really hope he does the business, because this could be the, you know, the show that it's on. It could be the kickstart his career, you know, and he can,
look, just going back to the fight we were talking about, Quartermain, Royston, Barney-Smiths. You know, there's an opponent there. If he gets a decent win, there's a ready-made fight there. He's under the. I don't know whether Frank signed him up to a promotional deal or whether it's just a one fight thing. But if Mitchell has a good enough performance, he's good enough and experienced enough for Frank to be able to put him straight in there. Yeah. You get what I mean? We don't have to wait around with him. I think they'll test him to see what he's like. He's fighting an 8-0 unbeaten prospect. Yeah. I think if he puts a good enough performance on, then his next fight will be someone of a decent level, you know, someone that we've heard of. Again, no disrespect to his opponent, but I think it'll be I don't think it would be too difficult for them to maneuver him into an English or a British title fight within 2 or 3 fights. So I'm excited to see what kind of performance we get from Mitchell.
Yeah, me too, mate.
Good luck, Mitch.
I echo your sentiments, mate. Agreed.
Thanks for that, lads. Right, as I just mentioned before that, Jay's Gambit then. Kyrgyzstan. I don't even know if I've pronounced it right.
Is it Kyrgyzstan?
Is it Kyrgyzstan? Where is it?
It's Russian.
Is it part of the old block, is it?
Yeah, so I think Kyrgyzstan is. So some of them are. It's like on the borders, a bit like. So they look, you know, like Mongolish. So they've got the mixed of Asian and Russian. I think Chinese, it's that type of area.
Okay. Well, I should have done some more homework, really, but you're probably right.
Geography, by the way, boys. So I could be completely wrong. It's probably in South America somewhere. No, I think it's old Eastern Bloc. I think it's one of the countries that became Kyrgyzstan after the CCCP separated.
That sounds good enough for me, mate.
We'll take it. We'll take
it. Yeah, you sound convincing, Jay, so we'll go with it.
You can tell I sell for a living, can't you? Mr. Billy Bullshitter.
Bishkek Arena, 51,000 capacity. This holds. I'm guessing this is the capital, but it's the return of one of boxing's bad boys. Filipino John Riel Casimero takes center stage. So I don't know the link here. I know he's with a Japanese promotional company, but the actual country I don't understand. I'll have to do a bit more digging to understand why they're doing a promotion over in this part of the world. Anyway. Former freeweight world champion, age of 36 now, boys. He's more of an influencer and a YouTuber back in his native Philippines. He's jumping up to 126 pounds now. He takes on Japan's Yonosuke Kameda. There's so many Kamedas about, but it's actually Kameda's brother who owns this promotional company. They both signed up for it. Over 10 rounds. But before we talk about the fight for what it's worth, Casimero, when I was doing some notes for the podcast, I just want to tell you some of his misdemeanors of recent, right? So he's been accused, so it's alleged, accused sexual abuse of a 17-year-old, publicly insulting Nonito Donnie's wife on social media, failed to make weight several times and was banned from the Japanese Boxing Association for a year, stripped of his title against Paul Butler because he used a sauna, hasn't cut weight, he's involved in a riot in Argentina, threats against boxing personality. I mean, the list goes on. Casimero, such a good fighter back in the day, upset, broke Charlie Edwards' heart, beat Wigandow, but probably one of the worst fights ever. Big star in his native Philippines.
Stop Tete, Zalani Tete.
There you go. Stop Tete. Good fighter, very indisciplined. He's back out at 126 now. The question I suppose I'm asking is why? I mean, he hasn't underachieved because he's been a free-weight world champion. You know, he's from the smaller weights. He's never fought to Parles, or he's never fought Donaire to make a super fight in the Philippines. I mean, why is he doing it? And why is he doing it over in a country no bugger's heard of? Go on, mate.
I'll tell you why.
Answer the
Kameda's
question.
shite. Kameda's shit. He's just not. I think not, with the most disrespectful respect I can give. Kameda's just not that good. You know, Lewis Nery beat him, I think.
Yeah, his last two fights, Nery and
Picasso's beat him.
Picasso.
He flatters to deceive, so he looks the part, right, slick and fast, and he's got this piston jab. If you can maneuver it and take it or get past it, he hates going backwards. He can't fight going backwards. Casimero's a front foot fighter. He'll just sit on him and he'll push him and push him and push him. The only reason he's taking a risk, because it's a calculated risk, he's going up and he's of an age where...
What's left now, though, Jay? That's what my point. What's left of Casimero now?
I'm not sure because of the outside of the ring stuff. Like you said, he's a social media influencer. I've seen videos of him smoking and partying and doing what.
Mate. He's turned into kind of an Adrian Broner from what you see from the outside. An Adrian Broner to smaller weights, isn't he? I know he's still active, just about, but mate.
It breaks me out, that Broner. It's that kind of stuff. It just breaks my heart because, he had all the skill in the world. And, I think differently from Broner, I think Casimero has sort of fulfilled his potential to a degree. He has had some good fights. I know you said he hasn't had legit fights, but a legit champion nonetheless. Broner dines out on being a 4-weight world champion. Is he, though? He won belts of such, but Casimero's a proven world champion. Yeah, the Rigondeaux fight was a horrible watch, but he beat him nonetheless. And there's not many people done that to Rigondeaux. So for me, I think it's a calculated risk, a risk nonetheless. But I think they've seen something in Kameda or not seen something in Kameda that gives them the confidence to think, do you know what? I'll have a bash. Let's get in there. And Kameda's big. The promotion's behind him, as you said. His brother's involved in the promotion. So it's a big scalp because he's involved in Japanese boxing as well as Casimero. So I think it could be to do with his brand as well. He's probably thinking of stuff after that, or maybe something. Are we leading up to him looking for a bigger fight down the line off the back of this? But I just think he's that a lot better than Kameda. I know I said he was shit, and that's real disrespectful, but I just don't think he's that good. Point. I don't think he's that good.
No, I agree. I think Casimero. Yeah, I think they're taking this fight because they're probably asking the same questions about Casimero as we are. They're thinking, he's getting on now. Is he distracted outside of boxing? Is this the time to take him? Because it is a risk. He has come off 2 defeats there from names like Lewis Nery and Picasso. Now they're thinking, is Casimero? Is the time there to take him? And I think that's why they're taking this fight. And there is question marks there with Casimero, but I just think that even on his worst day, he's good enough to beat Kameda.
Oh yeah,
and so that's where I sit with it. I think Casimiro's gonna do what he always does, and I think he's just gonna come out fast. He's gonna go straight on the front foot, push Kameda back. Like you said there, Jay. Kameda will throw some shapes, show some natural movement for it. But I think there'll be a time when Casimero catches him, wears him down, and for me stops him in round 5.
Oh, I said round 4. So yeah, we're very close. Yeah, I think it'll be a decent first round. I think Kameda's got a round or 2 in him. Like you said, lateral movement slick, got a decent jab, fast enough feet. But I think Casimero will just time him. He'll watch. He'll stay with him. He'll stay with him. Then he'll jump on him. And I think, like we saw with Charlie Edwards, if he cracks you to the body, mate, it'll be good night. So I'm not expecting this to go past 4 or 5 rounds.
The bookies, I know the bookies give Casimero 15-8 on and Kameda 6-4. I said last week about the bookies done me no favors. They're rich for a reason. They're making it a lot closer than what it is, and that's why I asked what Casimero's got left outside of the ring. I mean, I mentioned there about never fighting against Donaire. Maybe that's had something to do with the abuse of his wife, and never fighting against Marlon Tapales. But on a serious note, these are big fights in the Philippines. They've got an obsessive nature. When one of their fighters fights, I know Manny Pacquiao's the main guy, but everything stops and they go and watch. Is it because he's such a knob outside the ring that things haven't kind of materialised for him to have the big fights in his home country? I don't know, you know, boy. I'm going with Casimero like you, but I don't know what's left of this guy. He seems very overweight. If you have a look at some of the socials at the moment, he looks a bit weight drained.
Yeah.
Is he walking around as a fucking welterweight? I don't know, mate. I don't know.
His country, you know, the Philippines definitely don't have him, do they? They don't. You know, there's never been talks of big fights back home for him.
It's strange.
Yeah, and I think that is because he's possibly a prick outside the ring. You know, you've got to remember, other than Pacquiao, the Filipino Flash, Nonito Donaire, is lauded in it. You know, and he lives in the States and has lived in the States for a long time. But when he goes back home or boxes, you know, he's lauded. They love him. He's the number 2 to Manny Pacquiao, isn't he, really?
Yeah.
And Casimero could have had that, but for whatever reason, his own people do not take to him. And it must be because he's disrespectful and he's rude and he's brash. A bit like Broner. But at least, though, if you're going to do that, have the fights, call out the guys to have the fights. They've never really spoke about him fighting those guys, and certainly not back over there, back home.
Yeah, you don't hear it. You're right. I find it very odd.
And like you said, it must be something to do with, you know, the attitude of the man, or, you know, some of the charges as well, or some of the alleged offences are not particularly good offences that some people can get past, if that makes any sense, if you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
you know, so it could be something to do with, you know, for all we know, the government have put blocks on, could put blocks on stuff like that, because when you get charged certain things, you know, that mud sticks, whether you get, you know, ultimately done for it, mud sticks, and it could just be, look, we don't want to be associated or be seen to be supporting somebody that's been involved in you know, heinous acts, or allegedly involved in heinous acts, you know. So and as you said, there's a lot going on outside the ring. He brings a lot of baggage with him. A lot of promoters probably just think, you know what, it's not worth the hassle, because he misses weight a lot and gets into fights and spats, and you invest money. Yeah, he's ill-disciplined. You invest money in him. Look at Broner. Even Don King stopped wanting to work with him, for God's sake. He will promote anybody. He's desperate to promote, you know. So no, I still think he's got enough to beat Kameda, though, as shocking as he may look. But it's, I don't think we're going to see the second coming of Casimero. I think this may be one of his last handful of fights, I think. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Casimero points to me. See what's left. Lastly, staying in, how do you pronounce it, Jay? Kyrgyzstan. This is on a Sunday. It's on a Sunday. Nice. So they're doing 2 events over in this country, wherever it may be. This time on a Sunday. Someone else that's actually signed to the promotion is Lewis Nery, of all people. So the Kameda Promotions might have a few quid, and it looks like this could be a semi-final. Reading between the lines, if Casimero comes through his fight, Nery comes through his fight here against Satapon Sart of Thailand. I mean, this guy here, lads, he hasn't even got a box rep photo. So this should be cannon fodder for someone like Lewis Nery. Another kind of bad boy of boxing, you know, failing drug tests, another guy missing weight, being stripped on the scales, banned in Japan. So it kind of makes sense. They're trying to put over some super fight between these 2 bad boys over in this part of the world. I don't know. But this is a very, very easy one for me to predict. This is over 10 rounds at featherweight. Obviously, Nery's
moved up. Kyrgyzstan, by the way. Sorry.
Kyrgyzstan.
And it's on the Chinese-Russian border, so fucking
hell, there you go. Just for confirmation, this is the history channel. No, this is the geography channel as well today, ladies and gentlemen. But on a serious note, I still think Lewis Nery, I think he's 30 now. I still think he's got a lot to give. He's a very good fighter. The only time if it's 2 he's lost. He's lost 2 fights. I think he's been stopped twice by Inoue and Brandon Figueroa. Inoue, wasn't it? Inoue.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Inoue.
He poked the bear. He poked the bear, and Inoue done what Inoue does. But I think he's far too good for this like of opponent. I'm just trying to work out why he's with a Japanese promotional company, being a Mexican, obviously fighting in Mexico and the United States. And it looks like a semi-final between him and Casimero. But before you 2 guys speak about Nery, I'm going in straight away. I think this is a complete mismatch. I'm more convinced with this one than I am with Casimero. Lewis Nery just got to stop this guy in 4 rounds. And that's no disrespect. I just don't know anything about him.
I mean,
no box check picture is very telling for me.
I got a box rec. I did get a box rec picture this afternoon. I went back on this afternoon and I got one. So I don't know
did
whether
ya?
it's your browser. Yeah, you might have to clear your cache.
Yeah, get rid of all the porn and it might come up.
Say, Casimero been
The
sending you
OnlyFans.
videos, lad. You've been looking at Casimero's videos. Look, I don't know much about him. I'm not going to pretend that I do. He's 17-2. I think he lost to Makito Naka. And I think he dropped his debut. I think he lost on his debut. So looks good on paper, 17-2. But Lewis Nery is tested at world level. He knocked out Kameda. As we said, he's lost to two greats. Figueroa's fantastic.
He's a two-weight world champion himself, so he's levels above this kid.
Absolute monster. I'm leaning the same as yourself. I think it's a complete mismatch. I think it's a 4 or 5 round blowout. I think it's for as long as he wants it to be. I think he'll find his range, step on the gas, and just get him out of there. I'm going 4th round stoppage.
Yeah, I mean, I echo both what you say there. For me, it does look like there is a narrative here to try and build something between Casimero and Nery. But it feels to me very much like Brooke Khan, like little bit too late. That we'll watch it because we love boxing, but I would have liked to have seen it a few years ago. It would like Dave said, we're talking super fights. This would have been one. So yeah, for me, this is it's a complete mismatch. I agree with everything you say, and I think the first couple of rounds, maybe the first round, Lewis Nery, he'll size him up, and then for me, 3rd round, he's going to stop him.
Do you just a quick one? Do you think Nery could go back down? Do you think they're building it as Casimero Nery?
Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think that they're building it for. Yeah.
It just seems strange, doesn't it, to take them both to Central Asia?
Yeah,
boxing.
That's what I don't. I can't.
Japanese promotion. There's no
I can't work it out.
Kyrgyzstan-based fighters on the card, as far as I'm aware. Are they just doing it as they've probably got decent sanctioning fees to box there from the government and to bring something to the local economy? But it feels to me like they're trying to get the Nery Casimero fight.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah,
they're testing the water. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's a
fight
they could make. It's a fight easy to make if they both get wins, which I believe they both will. But yeah, they could have just put that fight on, could they not? Because these two are
they're both signed to Kameda Promotions now. That's my point. They're both signed for this promotional company.
Yeah, that's the fight we're going to see next, then, isn't it? I believe.
Yeah,
probably
unless one of them fucks up, but
fucking
I doubt it.
Kazakhstan.
Yeah, they end up seeing a face-off and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And it goes tits up, 18-1 on Nery, by the way, lads. So it's kind of, again, it's quite telling, isn't it? What platform is this on? Is this a 5-stick job? I mean, God knows where you're going to get
I wouldn't
this.
know anything about that, young man. Honestly.
YouTube.
More than fucking likely. Yeah, it'll be YouTube, probably, won't it? Because it's not, none of the big broadcasters I haven't seen any adverts.
They're not going to pick this up anyway, though.
No,
that's the thing.
No.
Even Triller don't pick them up now. So they didn't even pick up the Inoue versus Akhmadaliev. We had to watch that on Facebook for what it was worth, So
that was awful. Do you know, I found out about Ricky Hatton halfway through that fight. That was when it hit the news. Yeah, my missus came in and told me.
Oh, yeah, it was that Sunday. That's right. You're right. Yeah,
I was on with Liam and Sam. We were doing a watch along.
Watch along. Yeah.
Sorry to bring the mood down there, boys.
Oh no!
Fucking hell.
That's all really for this weekend. Just quickly, we normally do our prediction leagues. I normally don't do that at the start. Dave, you've won again. I don't really need to go through all the scores. It was 9-5.
Nothing new there, Jay. You know what I
mean? I'm getting stuffed this year. It's going into this weekend. It's 11 points to me and 17 to Dave.
Do you know what? In terms of picks recently, I've had an absolute stinker. Other than, I think Troy Williamson pulled me out of a hole. I got the round and the victory.
It's the rounds, mate. It's the rounds I struggle with.
Yeah,
Dave kind of nails them.
I had
until I put money on it.
Who got stopped? Who stopped their opponent in round 10 last week? But Dave Allen, wasn't it? I think it didn't. What round did? No,
that went to points.
No, they went points.
What was the fight on before that on the undercard?
Oh, 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? What was that?
I think I had round 9. No, who boxed last weekend? It was Kieran Conway.
And
Kieran
George
George
Liddard.
Liddard, yeah.
I
Liddard,
had
yeah.
round 9 when he had him wobbling all over.
That's it.
I think I had 25-1 on round 9. I was gutted.
Oh.
Because he had him wobbling, didn't he? And falling.
Yeah, he did,
But
yeah.
My picks recently have been horrific. Maybe I've got the right winner, but I can't pick a round to save my life. No.
So on that, because Dave's so far in the prediction league, we do a winners weekly wager where at the end of the year, mate, it's nice that you spoke about your brother in terms of his career, and unfortunately he spoke CTE. We're going to donate money to a boxing charity at the end of the year. So we clock up wins, we clock up money, and we give it to. We're going to give it to charity at the end of the year. So at the moment, mate, there was £116 in the pot. Dave won again last week, so he predicted TMA Ayton to get the job done in 4 rounds. He got a full house, which gave him 6 points. We double it to 12, turn that into pounds, which makes this weekend £128 going into the pot. Because you're a guest, Dave.
Yeah, sign me up.
Dave won last week, but he may allow
join that. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, it wasn't so much that we have a bank. Week, so
Okay.
So
absolutely.
It might kickstart your run, mate.
So you want my banker of the weekend? Then I am going to go with Lewis Nery. Has to be. It's easy that. Easy. I think that's the out of all the fights. I think that is probably my. If I had to pick one where I could put my hat on it and say he's going to guarantee me a win, I think Lewis Nery will get me that win. So. Do you want me to predict 4th round stage? Yeah. So that's my banker. Great. Thank you very much, boys.
So if it's not a banker, I don't think Dave will give you the pleasure of picking for him ever again.
I actually would.
So that's definitely the end of the show now. Jay, any plugs, mate?
You're on YouTube, Jay's Fight Talk on X. I do a podcast with the guys. We've had a little bit of a hiatus. I've been working, but just my YouTube channel. It's as it's written at the bottom at Jay's Fight Talk on YouTube. I do predictions. I'm going to start doing early work, but no. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much. Yeah,
great channel, ladies and gentlemen. Get stuck into that, especially when he's on with Liam and SW Fight Up with Sam. Really good content. It's the only place to go.
We're honest. We're honest.
You are.
I rub a cheek to some of the fighters that have maybe seen something that they've taken as negative. I always end. Prince Patel, for example. God, I got.
Oh, you're always having beef with him, aren't you? Always.
Listen, he's agreed to come on the channel. We speak now. I won't say we're friends, but we are definitely. We're getting there. We're amicable because I think people respect the fact that shite I was, but I'm unbeaten in 30 years because I haven't boxed in 30 years. But I'll take it. No, but I'm never. I'm always honest. No. It's not through spite or try to be nasty, or I'm just honest. And I think once they see the incident, they realise that I am giving my opinion and it's honest. It's not for vitriol or venom or anything like that. So I think I get the respect because I'll dine out on my picks, and you guys have seen before. I've got it horrifically wrong, or I'll get it on. But I will eat humble pie if I've got to. I'm not. My ego's not that fragile. Where if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It is what it is. The place to be.
Definitely.
Yeah, but there's no malice there. Do you know what I mean? You can disagree with someone without.
A lot of boxers, and I've seen this from the inside. My brother, if somebody picks against them, they take it as a personal insult rather than we're basing our opinion on what the visual aspects of the sport at this point. But you pick a team, don't you? It don't mean you've got any malice for the opponents, and it's the same. Boxing is just a sport. There's got to be a winner and a loser unless there's a draw. So no, I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, you're a superstar, mate. You're brilliant.
Yeah, thanks for coming, brother.
Thanks, boys.
I don't do this. I don't do the outros now. It's down to Mr. David Holland. So
enjoy the fucking boxing.
Peace out, guys.
Thanks,
Jay.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks.